The Flames are getting a new arena, and how many people are going to cross the Saddledomes off their bucket list?
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, joined by my partner in crime, fantastic interviewer, podcaster, crossover with New York Rangers, super casual, Nick Zararis.
Hello. How are we doing today?
You know, I would say living the dream, but I'm not at the Saddledome.
Living the dream is what white people say to each other when we're on the verge of a mental breakdown. How are you doing today? I'm living the dream. I'm doing great.
And I'm sure that there actually are politicians today that are living the dream there in Calgary. But before we dive into the latest arena news, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Head on over to the FanDuel app today and check out the latest props and bets and get $5 and $5 into $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit fanduel.com/locked-on to get started. Well, we're going to get started here and talk all about the latest news from Calgary in regards to their new arena and where we want to go. But first, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts and, of course, on YouTube because we're here for you every day. Last night, was it last night? It was some point yesterday. I saw Eric Francis tweet that we'd get some sort of big arena news tomorrow, which is today.
Yeah, it was last night. I vaguely remember seeing that while I was scrolling the timeline while I was taking a break from doing all the editing I had to do yesterday. But yeah, we've been talking about this as a hypothetical for a while now. Now the funding and how it's going to be paid for is finalized. Apparently, there's going to be an aggressive construction plan to break ground as soon as possible to get this process going, because everybody is kind of in agreement that this needs to get done as fast as possible. And talking about it in terms of the politics of it, the sports of it, there's a lot of different angles to attack it from, but the bulk of the money is not coming from the province. Most of what the public money is going towards is infrastructure stuff, like public transportation and the area around the arena itself, to kind of facilitate opportunities for business and other entities around the new arena. So this isn't the worst public funding deal we've seen. I mean, we both live in the state of New York, where the Bills are going to get a new stadium, which is basically entirely paid for by the state. So it could be worse.
Welcome, Buffalo fans. Renovation, revamping. And, you know, I've obviously never been to Calgary, but I feel like it's, kind of a pop-in place where people probably should have easy access in and out and not have to worry about driving.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Anytime you can do public transit, it helps. Anything you can do to increase the accessibility of your team is a good thing. We see this a lot in some cities and some sports, some teams, where their venue is in the middle of the suburbs and there is no means to get there very easily, or it's very infrequent. So when you are in a metropolitan area, you want to do everything you can to make it as easy as possible for people to come to your event. Whether we're talking about hockey, concerts, whatever, the more people you can get to come to your event, the better.
The good thing, I guess, about a new arena as well. I've seen a bunch of people say that, artists are only going to Edmonton because they don't want to play at the Saddledome. It's like, well, maybe, but there's also more logistics behind that. But a new pretty arena will make Calgary a little more attractive, and it's going to be fun. And I'm really excited to see what they do with the entertainment district. I know that at Patriots Place, where the New England Patriots play, it is in a suburb, and they have a really nice shopping district. I'm looking forward to see what it looks like in an actual hockey area and seeing what they can do and what it means for some of the businesses on, I believe they call it the Red Mile.
Yeah, no, we can see some teams like the Oilers have a district that's set up similarly to what the Flames are going to have. If I remember correctly, what I read earlier is the same architecture firm that designed the Oilers one is going to be involved with planning the Flames one. So yeah, again, anything you can do to facilitate accessibility is for the better. And yeah, these are higher end first world problems of what are they going to do with the area around the multi-billion-dollar arena? These are not life-altering issues, but this is part of the conversation. The Flames for a while have lagged behind because they've had issues trying to secure funding to get a new arena. This is one more thing you can do in your appeals process here to get people to want to come here, whether it be fans checking it off their list to get to finally go, whether it's trying to entice players to come in free agency or to sign long-term extensions. Having a first-class facility matters to these guys. They want to have the good amenities around the organization. And I know a lot of people will say, well, they're already getting paid a lot. Why? Yes. But the counterpoint to that is this is a competitive sport with a salary cap. There is no salary cap on what you can spend on making your organization better. It behooves you to put as much money as possible into your infrastructure, your facilities, and your support staff because there's no cap on that spending. And the better teams in the league exploit that. They have a superfluous support staff. They have world-class first-rate facilities, and the Flames need that. The Flames have lagged behind in that respect. And yes, you're going to lose charm when you are going to lose charm. You are going to lose history. You are going to lose nostalgia. All of those are part of the trade-off, the risk assessment, whatever you want to use. As somebody who lives in the greater New York area, every single Yankee fan I talk to says old Yankee Stadium was better. I agree with them. It was. But it wasn't a baseball stadium for the present day. It was built, on a couple of city blocks in the 19 teens. It was renovated twice. They got 100 years, close to about 90 years out of it. And then they looked around and said, okay, the last 20 years, pretty much everybody's gotten a new stadium except for us. We need to do this. And sure, you lose some of what makes an arena, but at the same time, human nature is fickle. You got to do what you can to entice people, whatever that means.
Right. It's like when you bribe a kid to start behaving with candy because you just gotta sweeten the deal. And I think that, at the end of the day, this is going to be fantastic for people of Calgary, tourism, the team, and everyone involved. Coming up next, we are going to talk about our bucket list arenas and where we probably won't want to go at some point. But before we dive into that, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. New customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That is $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use and you can get paid out instantly. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us today on Locked On Flames. As always, we're here to carry you through almost to the end of the offseason now. At this point, I never thought we'd get here, but let's talk about arenas we hope to get to.
So, off the bat, I've been to TD, the 3 here in the New York area, Bell Center, and that's it, I think. So, bucket list, if I hadn't been, I would put the Bell Center for sure. That's one every hockey fan should get to experience. If you have the opportunity, take the behind the scenes tour, go into the alumni club, which is really cool, where they have a lot of stuff from the organization's past. So Bell Center is it's really one of the last newer venues, and new I'm putting in quotes because opened in the 90s, but it still kind of feels older than it is. Whereas a lot of the more recent venues that have opened in the last 5 to 10 years, they kind of feel like entirely different entities. They don't feel like hockey specific arenas. Like the Bell Center is for more than just hockey, but it feels like a hockey arena. Whereas you talk about some of the newer venues that have opened in the last couple of years where it's just an arena where they play hockey at.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose center. And I mean, I think that the Staples Center, that's probably one of the best examples of that. It does not feel like you should be watching a hockey game there at all. I have gone to TD Garden, Bridgestone Arena, not for a hockey game, but for a concert. So I don't know if that counts.
It kind of counts.
Yeah, I mean,
partial credit.
It was fun. It was a good time. It was cold in there, so I mean, they're doing something right, I guess. And the Staples Center. So really, TD Garden. Nashville and LA. I mean, considering I live 90 minutes from Montreal, I do consider
They're going to be really bad the next like 2 years. Do it now while they're bad and you have an opportunity to get in there relatively cheap.
100%. I think I saw tickets when the Flames are there in November for like $30.
Yeah, that's worth
American.
it. That's worth
I'll go. I don't care. And I haven't been to Madison Square Garden for anything, so I would really like to go for obviously a game. And I want to go to Vancouver
Yeah.
just because Vancouver is a gorgeous city.
I will dispel some notions here. Madison Square Garden is vastly overrated.
Is it?
Madison Square Garden gets by on legacy. The concourse is very cluttered, especially on the second deck. There's no room at all since the renovation in 2013 upstairs. You are, as somebody who's tall, you sit like this the entire game because you're brushing shoulders with the people next to you. On the pro side, it's in the middle of Midtown, so it's easy to do things before and after. That's really the big upside to it. Better for concerts, I would say, than hockey at this stage, just because the vibes are a little bit better. When you go to a Ranger game, it's a lot of people who just they got tickets as opposed to, oh, I want to go to the Ranger game tonight. So the energy is part of what makes an arena an arena. What I was saying before about Yankee Stadium now, where it doesn't have the same juice, it doesn't have the same energy because it's lost a lot of the people. That's what makes an arena special. When we're talking about like energy and vibes and culture, the fans are a part of that, and there are different varying degrees of that. Like there's the hyper aggressive Northeast fan that you have in like Boston and Philadelphia. There's the, oh, this is awesome casual fans in the South, especially, which has kind of blossomed in the last couple of years, where some of these non-traditional markets have really, I won't say become strongholds, but kind of solidified their position. Like I would like to get to Nashville because that when the Predators are decent, it always is really loud on TV, which generally speaking is a good gauge of what the environment is like, if it's loud or not. It always looks chaotic, which I'm a fan of when it comes to going to a hockey game. I like the vibes to be a little bit, I won't say erratic or like dangerous, but chaotic. I like, is that guy about to spill that beer? Does that guy have the catfish underneath his shirt? Like that kind of thing.
Like the people watching has to be just,
it's part of it.
It has to be memorable. Like I don't want to go really anywhere and just be like, where's the fun? No one here is making me laugh. There's no opportunity to make this a memory because I'm surrounded by just corporate people.
It's sterile. That's the biggest qualm I have with a lot of live sports presentation now is if you go to a game a week apart, 2 weeks apart, it is the exact same presentation both times because they have mass produced every aspect of the production to be replicable as possible, so there's less work to do, and it doesn't feel as authentic, and there aren't as many characters and vibrant people walking around and as part of the vibes. Those people have been weeded out because sports have become just another product in the entertainment cycle. So it is a real kind of conundrum we face. As far as other arenas, I would say, see, I'm about to talk out of both sides of my mouth here because I'm about to say I want to go to a Leafs game, but they have the exact same problem the Rangers do of it's just corporate people who got their tickets from work and it's really expensive and the arena's old. So that's really what we're working with there. I would like to go to what is it, Rexall Place in no, that's what the Oilers used to play at. Rogers Place, is it? That's why, because there's two naming sponsors with the same. One is Rogers Center, one is Rogers Place. Yeah. Rogers Place in Edmonton because it's one of the newer arenas. Chaotic energy, which that's part of what I'm looking for here. Obviously the Saddledome because it's oldest arena, still the second oldest arena in the NHL behind the Garden. You just don't have places like that anymore. That is a vestige of a previous time where hockey was what that arena was built for, and there wasn't consideration for anything else. I mean, I think about all the people I know who've covered a game there, and they talk about having to walk the catwalk across, and it's just like it's so impractical, it's so stupid, but it's so charming.
It is. And I think that that's really one of like the first things that caught my eye about Calgary, like optics wise, other than like the actual product. It's so like I used to look forward to watching like my favorite beat writers post their videos of them walking over it, and then they banned it. But Yeah, obviously the Saddledome's up there. I think really Seattle too, even just because of how new it is, and it looks like it's one of the coolest places.
I like the way
potentially.
they have the way that that arena in particular is interesting. LA Football Stadium is like this as well, is where it's built into the ground. So when
Yeah,
you walk in, you're on the highest level, and as you go closer to the ice or the court or the field in the case of the football stadium, you're going deeper down into the ground. And I don't know how that affects sight lines, but from the outside perspective, it just looks cool. And frankly, every now and then you just got to say it looks cool, and
yeah.
maybe that makes me stupid, but at least it looks cool.
You know what? If it's a shiny toy,
Exactly.
I'm drawn to it. And
And
with that being the newest arena, I mean, yeah, it had like that shine hasn't worn off. And I think I really, even though it's like Amazon and whatever, there's like a lot of greenery and prettiness to it.
yes,
And there's
yes,
an effort there, probably
yes.
just for show. But
Real quick, I will say UBS and Prudential here in the New York area, both very nice.
I just want to go to
Prudential's
Prudential for the chicken tenders.
they're pretty good. I've been told they reworked whatever it is, and they're different than the last couple of years. But the chicken tenders there are pretty good. They have of the arenas I've been to, that's the best scoreboard. It is enormous. It is. I wish I could watch football on that. Frankly, I wish I could hang that in my backyard and just have people over to watch football on it because it's genuinely that good of a scoreboard. And UBS is nice. It's the second newest arena after Seattle. The thing that I like about it that's kind of quirky is it has an outdoor patio which is attached to the arena where you can
Oh,
walk outside, and it's kind of like being at a rooftop bar and at a hockey game. And it's a little chaotic in there, which is what I like. Like there's people smoking cigarettes, just blowing smoke in every single direction. It kind of feels like a dive bar
I
attached
was
to a hockey game. It's got a little quirk to it. If all they need to make that perfect is instead of house music, just we need to match the dive bar aesthetic here. This needs to be comfort music, not house music.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone should be able to put on like the most ridiculous song that like is such a deep cut just for
They
them and
need touch
their group of
tunes.
friends.
They
Yeah,
need touch tunes
exactly.
out on the Heineken Terrace.
Yes. And I just want to I want to go out there and hear someone put on something so niche and look and be like, these are my people. Like
Yeah,
they get it. They get
yeah.
it. Coming up next, we're going to talk about if I have to, if you get offered tickets or you happen to be in the area, why not take advantage of it? But before we do that, let's talk about Indeed. Indeed offers the Instant Match program, which is fantastic. Candidates you invite can apply through Instant Match and are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor your post, you get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Indeed does the hard work for you. Sponsor a job, and boom, Instant Match shows you the candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately after you post. Indeed knows when you're growing your business, you have to make every dollar count. And that's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must have job requirements. And it's tough being a small business owner. So you got to make the most of this. Visit indeed.com/locked on to start hiring. That's indeed.com/locked on. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application. Pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us today as we work through our bucket list and not so bucket list of hockey arenas because, like you said, there's a lot of history. And again, like a little renaissance of modern arenas.
When I think about modern arena phenomena, the conundrum you're trying to keep the charm and the human element, like we've been talking about here, about some of the older arenas, some of the arenas that have a unique energy to them. But you also have to have it with all the fancy bells and whistles to appeal to the casual person, so that when a company wants to renew their tickets, you can say, "Oh, well, we added this and we added that," and that's the fine line we're trying to walk here. But the problem is, and this has kind of been an issue in all walks of sports content, sports presentation, is they know they've got them. They know no matter what, the sickos like us who do the content, who go to the games, who play the video games, who consume the media, they know we will go to these games no matter what. It is why they get away with the price raises. It is why they get away with the arena renovations that make it inhospitable for anybody over 5'6" and isn't, the smallest person to sit in a seat for an extended period of time. They know we'll go no matter what. They put all the bells and whistles to appeal to the casual person to be like, oh, we could do this as just something to do on a given day, as opposed to, oh, we're going to go to a game. As far as arenas, I don't want to go to. Number one, I do not want to go to Columbus. I hate that cannon. I hate that cannon. I hate that cannon. I should not need to feel like I need to duck when I am at a hockey game.
I didn't even think about that. I think for, the casual fans or just like the experience in general, there's like that convenience factor too.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait in line to check out. It's basically a mini corner store. You walk in, tap your card and whatever, pick your drink and your snack and you're good to go. But
that stuff scares me. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's going to sound like very like Facebook boomer of me saying that scares me. But like, how does it know what I took?
Right.
I don't understand how this works, and I'm scared about it.
No, I don't like that. I am fine with tap to pay. I will show you what I have and I will go. But how do you know? And how do I know you're charging me correctly?
Correct.
That's crazy. You just pay like $16 for like a Bud Light seltzer, and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. No, it's not. But I agree with Columbus. Just because, why are we doing Revolutionary War stuff? We have moved past that. People are probably going to take this out of context. I have beef with the Detroit airport. So I don't want to go watch a Red Wings game. I'd like to
go to Little Caesars Arena. They've got an interesting entertainment district around that venue. I've seen from a few of my Red Wing fan friends that at least has me curious. But I'm not like, if the Red Wings are ever good again, it would be worth it, because that's a little bit different when Hockey Town's buzzing. But now, like, if we were doing this in like 2008, I would like to go to Joe Louis Arena, because the energy is vastly different. It is deafeningly loud. I miss this is going to sound like such like a niche complaint. I just miss some of the center ice art at some of these arenas.
Yes.
I miss when it used to say the Hockey Town across the Red Wings logo at center ice at Joe Louis Arena. It doesn't have the same juice anymore. It just doesn't. And granted, the team hasn't been good in a while, but when you close a historic venue like Joe Louis Arena, when they won all those cups and they were that good for that long, you're losing something. We're losing recipes.
Right. And, I think about Fenway Park and how that is something that they are trying to, there have been one too many facelifts on that ballpark. It is not comfortable. It is not fun. It's fun, but not like, the convenience and the comfortability just isn't there. I don't want that when I go to a game. If I'm giving you $165 to be in your arena on a Saturday night to watch a bad team,
that's cheap. $165. You might be able, for a Saturday Ranger game, they would have to be playing like Vancouver or Columbus, or they would have to be playing a Western Conference team, like maybe the Blues. The tickets are always really cheap when they play the Blues for whatever reason. And it would have to be like a 1:00 game. That is the only way the tickets would be $165 on the weekend. During the week, you can get Ranger tickets like $80-$90 if they're playing a bad team. But most of the time, the get-in is at least $120.
That's crazy.
That's the problem with the Devils being good now, is I can't get in for $10 anymore.
Yeah, they used to give tickets away.
I need to get my sister, who's in highschools.edu, email so I can sign up for the Devil Student Rush tickets.
That's very smart. I am going to TD Garden a week from Saturday, and balcony seats, first row against Nashville on a Saturday night, I think we're $130 something face value, which to me, that's what I paid to go to be in the last row of the balcony. Game 2 against Columbus in the 2019 playoffs. Egregious.
We're cooked. All aspects of entertainment, especially like experience-based entertainment, like concerts, sports, whatever. just beyond repair. It is never going to get fixed, and it's really unfortunate because like those are like the only fun things to do anymore is to go to sports and to go to concerts, and it's just inaccessible for the vast majority of people. It really does suck.
I feel so bad for like
Yeah.
young families that, growing up, people used to complain about how much it was to go to, take a family of 4 to just a local, major sporting event to get like a hot dog and a drink or whatever. I think that would probably cost you like close to $1,000.
Oh,
You
all
try to do
right. So I'll do this real quick because we're coming up against the clock. Let's say you're going to a decently priced game. Let's say you're getting and it's hard to get more than 2 tickets together at MSG, which is also an issue. So conservatively, we'll say $150 times 4. That's $600 without the fees, without
fees.
ticketing. So we'll throw with fees, we'll say $650, $675 if we're being generous. And that's just to get in for 4 people. And that's not dinner, that's not parking. If you're parking in Midtown, that's $50. So we're over $700. You want to get 1 beer for you and your partner? Okay, that's $30. Your kids, they both want a soda. That's $7 to $10 each. Okay, we're already over almost $800 and there's no food involved. If you get food, you want chicken fingers and fries, $15, $16. If you want a cheeseburger, well, they don't even have normal cheeseburgers at Madison Square Garden anymore. If you want a gourmet cheeseburger, it's like $18 with fries. If you want 2 slices of pizza, it's like $14. It is wholly inaccessible for a normal person.
That's disgusting. It should not cost my month's rent to go to a hockey game.
Correct. Not a survival. This is not for survival. This
No.
is entertainment.
I get it. I know we're running out of time, but movie tickets going up, I get it. Whatever. That was fine. I could handle that. Wasn't super inaccessible.
And they don't even have staff at the movie theater anymore. They have 1 person working the counter and 2 people behind the concession. Like if there were more people, everything is bad.
If you are suffering from sports fan inflation, just like us, you should absolutely subscribe to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, because we're here for you every day, and we're here to take you through the next 82 games and maybe a postseason. Nick, where can people find you?
My Twitter handle's at Nick Zararis. You can find most of my work through my Twitter. I plug it pretty consistently because I'm always doing content, unfortunately. I'm going to eat dinner and then go record a Giants podcast too. So lots to do. There's never a dull moment. And I think I'm getting more freelance work. So lots going on, but we're not forming thoughts, which is good.
No, never. That's fantastic. There's no time to do any of that. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. Again, same deal. My work's always on there. Any parting words?
We need better consumer protections.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean the $37 ticket protection either. Ticketmaster, no. We're looking at you. All right, everyone. We will see you. I'll see you tomorrow, and Nick will be back next week.